Good morning, everyone. Um, yes, no, we are here. Yes, we are here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at headlines from our city, our state, and our country. We answer your questions whenever we can, whenever we cannot. We hope for creating good connections between you and the sources of the answer you're looking for. We take a look at your comments, your ideas, your suggestions. And of course, we schwitz. It's schwitzing season. It is hot and humid out there. The whole world is going into this heat wave or has been in this heat wave. But we are here. We're happy to be here on this Friday, July 22nd. As some of you know, we had an amazing get together yesterday. I'm so grateful to Gina for opening her restaurant to us. And I am so humbled by the turnout. I mean, there were close to 40 people at Whiskey Kitchen Versailles yesterday. And we were all sweaty and we were all laughing at how miserable some of us felt. But, we're here. We are English speaking locals. We live here and we live here year round. And because of that, we will continue to smile at businesses that only cater to snowbirds, but we will continue to frown upon this privately. We are going to continue to welcome and be friendly with those of you that open for the high season and then close during the summer because Puerto Vallarta is empty. But privately, we are going to continue to roll our eyes against this notion. Of course, there are English speaking folk here in Puerto Vallarta during the summer months. We are a testament to that. And we will continue to be gracious and be thankful to all of those businesses that cater to us year round and wish the best of luck to those of you that are of the mindset that you have nothing to do during the summer because we're not here. Boom, boom. There you go. Enough said. We also had a chance to enjoy some treats that Gina graciously offered us from her upcoming seafood and taco eatery that is going to open just a couple of weeks from now, not far from Whiskey Kitchen. But enough about that. Today we have all kinds of news that I wish to share with you. We have an important and sobering report based on a question that a friend of ours shared with us a few days ago. It was Kelly from the bookstore. Kelly Casey wrote to me privately, you may recall, and she asked, why does our governor get such a low approval rating? And we immediately answered and briefly answered that it may have something to do with his track record with crime in general and crime against women in particular. And today, We are going to talk about a recent case that has rattled the state, the nation, and the world that you may or may not be aware of, which will give us possible answers as to why our governor, despite some of his really amazing accomplishments, continues to rate really low in his approval rating. But before we go there, as always, we welcome friends that are new to the broadcast to let us know that you're new with the word new in your comment, and we'll be so very happy to give you a nice little friendly welcome. And of course, as always, if anybody has an important comment or question that you'd like to share with us, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment, and we'll be so very happy to take a look at it during the second half of the broadcast. But for that, we need to take care of the first half. And we start with great news. Over 7,500 boys and girls between the ages of 5 and 11 participated in the pediatric COVID vaccination campaign here in Puerto Vallarta this week, making it one of the most successful. Now, health authorities are asking parents of kids ages 12 to 17 to stay tuned for the next vaccination campaign for them, although specific dates have not been announced. And talk about bad timing. We've been talking about President López Obrador's visit to the region. We know that he had his morning press conference here in Puerto Vallarta today, and he's going to attend a security meeting that involves both the state of Jalisco and Nayarit. But wouldn't you know it, yesterday, Nayarit Governor Miguel Ángel Navarro Quintero, the town name changer, announced that he tested positive for COVID. We hope for a quick recovery, but again, talk about bad timing. And talk about timing again. For the first time in 37 years, the TELMEX Workers Union has gone into strike for violations of their collective work contract. And this is a nationwide affair. Of course, yesterday, TELMEX was quick to publish in social media that service would not be interrupted as everything runs automatically. But what happens if you need any repair or installation work done? Just don't count on it, at least not at present time. Here in Puerto Vallarta, there are almost 200 employees that are participating on the strike, many of which spent the night at TELMEX's offices, even preventing users from using TELMEX ATM machines to pay for their bills at the office. So if you have any repairs done, forget about them, or any repairs needed, forget about them. If you need to pay for your bill, please use the app on your phone or use the TELMEX website. Do not waste your time going to the office, as you will not be able to get anything done there. In other news, the new Felipe Angeles Airport in Mexico City was inaugurated a while back with much fanfare, but it turns out that operations there are somehow not taking off, as there are only 12 flights arriving or departing on any given day. However, it is worth mentioning that one of the most successful of those flights has been Aeromexico's flights from Puerto Vallarta to the new Felipe Angeles Airport, with higher number of passengers in average than any other flight. Authorities are hoping to increase the number of daily flights to 64 during the months of August and September. And here are some very sad news that I read yesterday on multiple sources, indicating that the Monarch butterfly is now classified as endangered. As it is well known, Monarch butterflies are among the most recognizable in the world, and they participate in an annual migration ritual from as far as southern Canada down to the mountains of central Mexico, where in the state of Michoacan, they are a major tourist destination. And then they return back north, breeding multiple generations along the way. But unfortunately, the monarch population has declined between 22 and 72% during the past 10 years, according to this article from PBS. I am going to include this article and another one by CNET in the show notes today. Both articles are in English. And now we are going to very quickly turn over to the news so that we can continue with the rest of the broadcast. It is Friday after all. Let's find out what the weather has in store for us. And they keep saying it's going to rain today. And I even heard a comment that it's going to rain for several days, but I just don't see this happening. Right now, we are enjoying a temperature of 29 degrees, feels like 41 degrees because humidity is high at 100%. Our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 84. According to Snarky Weather, there's only a 15% chance of rain right now. The weather forecast may tell us something else. According to the weather forecast, there's going to be heavy rain starting in the afternoon with a high temperature of 32 and a low temperature of 24. Tomorrow, Saturday, it will rain and it'll be humid with a high of 31 and a low of 24. And then on Sunday, humid and overcast through the day with a high of 31 and a low of 24. I only hope that if it rains, it really rains, because when we get a mild rainfall, we just don't seem to get any cooler than when we were or where we were before that. Let's see. Moving right along, I have crocodile news. Yay. The croc that was meandering around the Rio Pitillal Riverside Parkway was captured, and it turns out he was already tagged. He is also known as crocodile number 530, and Croc 530 has been relocated to the Ameca River, as most crocodiles in the region are when they are captured. But I also have this bit of fun news. I found out that Friends of Puerto Vallarta Animals and Buffy's Canine Cantina, canine? Yes, that's how you say that word, have announced a pet adoption event to take place tomorrow on the Isla Rio Cuale from 3:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. If you are looking to bring some extra joy and happiness and litter boxes and pet treats into your home, if you're looking to adopt, this might just be a place and a time to do it. Again, we'll give you all the details in today's show notes. And before we dive into your comments and questions and all that good stuff, again, our friend Kelly Casey asked not too long ago, so why is our governor not popular despite all the wonderful stuff that he keeps doing? Well, I have a story for you today. Hold on to your seats because it's not a happy story. I want you to meet Luz Raquel Padilla. She is a 35-year-old single mother of an 11-year-old boy living in the municipality of Zapopan within the Guadalajara metropolitan area. Zapopan, of course, is the part of Guadalajara, or the area of Guadalajara where all the swanky apartment buildings are and where all the swanky shopping centers are. But there's nothing swanky about Luz Raquel's life. She is a well-known activist and advocate member of a collective group in Jalisco called Yo Cuido Mexico. I look after Mexico. The group is focused not on looking after Mexico, but focused on raising awareness of families struggling with raising children with disabilities. You see, Luz Raquel's 11-year-old son, Bruno, suffers from severe autism and epilepsy, so she devotes all her time to look after him literally 24/7. So it is Bruno's grandmother who goes out on a daily basis to work and make ends meet for the family, including procuring enough funds for the medications needed by Bruno, whose autism is so aggressive. He was expelled from school after an episode, so Luz Raquel has had to pay for all his medication and therapy out of her own pocket. On occasion, they have painted small piggy banks and sold them at local bazaars through her social media outlets as well, so that they can raise a few extra pesos for his well-being. Unfortunately, however, Bruno's episodes have been so severe, he has sometimes banged the walls at home and made enough noise to place Bruno and his mother at odds with other people living in the same building. And when I say at odds, we mean seriously at odds. In fact, things took a turn for the worse back in May when an upset neighbor started spray painting the legend, "I'm going to burn you alive," in the hallway where Luz Raquel and her son live. In fact, on her Twitter account, she wrote, "When will I stop living in fear that something may happen to me or my family and my aggressor is free to roam around the city?" And this was after she had already been assaulted with chlorine on her chest. At the time, she reported the issue to the Zapopan authorities and she asked to be incorporated into a special program where she would receive protection. But her request was denied by the authorities, saying that the actions did not justify her receiving such protection. And this was back in May. This past Saturday, as she walked along a park in her neighborhood, Luz Raquel was sprayed with a flammable liquid and set on fire by 4 individuals, 3 men and 1 woman, in broad daylight. 90% of her body was burnt. 3 days later, after struggling in agony, she died. Yesterday, the state's prosecution office presented a witness, the neighbor, first named Sergio, as one of the main suspects in the incident, and also the state prosecution office stated that he was captured after a coordinated operative or some fancy phrase like that. But in reality, it was the neighbor, it was the suspect's mother who turned him in. You see, Sergio, the next door neighbor, fled the neighborhood, fearing for the repercussions other neighbors might take against him, but he continued to show up for work, fearing for his son's life and being aware of threats against his well-being. His mother went to the authorities asking for protection for her son, and the authorities said to him pretty much, "The best way for us to protect your son is to bring him in." So he was apprehended not because of some monster operative by the authorities. He was apprehended because his own mother turned him in. Where was Governor Alfaro in all of this? Well, Governor Alfaro always acknowledges these types of incidents and quickly moves on. In fact, he was severely criticized yesterday for bragging about the fact that one of Formula One race car driver Checo Perez's helmets was on display at some expo in Guadalajara. This is the driver that received millions of pesos for just writing the word Guadalajara on his helmet. And that is supposed to be a lot of great, wonderful promotion for our state. He could have shown more empathy for Luz Raquel's death and other similar cases in the state in the past, but he didn't. And he was not well feedbacked because of that. 4 manifestations condemning the way the incident was handled by the authorities have already taken place this week, 3 in Guadalajara alone and 1 in Mexico City. Luz Raquel's funeral took place yesterday, and the news about this tragic incident continues to disseminate around the world, along with the fact that violence against women in Mexico is an alarming issue. And impunity in Jalisco, where only an average of 1 out of 10 suspects of violence against women is apprehended, is, as we've said before, an area in which Governor Alfaro has failed to have a strong grip on during his administration. Alfaro has vowed to make sure that Luz Raquel's autistic son is well taken care of. But what about her aggressors? What will happen with this suspect? What will happen to the other 3 people involved in the incident? God only knows. Now, let us take a quick look at your comments, and I apologize for the somber note, but sometimes a good reality check on what it's like to live in paradise, I think, is due for all of us. I love reading all your good mornings, and these mean so much to me. Again, Raymond, it was such a pleasure to see you yesterday. Thank you for your good comments. Thank you for your good vibes and your company. And thank you for appreciating the fact that, well, whereas I may do okay in front of the microphone, when it comes to meeting people in a public place where you just don't know everybody as well as you'd like to. I get as nervous as anybody else. So thank you, Raymond, for holding my hand yesterday. That meant a lot to me, even while you may not have even noticed. Um, let's see. More good mornings. More good mornings. Raymond says, please hug the baby squirrel and raccoon for me, Christy. I would say the same thing. I would absolutely say the same thing. Let's see. And Christy reports, of course, that the young ones are progressing wonderfully, and that is wonderful news. Harold, what a pleasure to meet you in person yesterday. Thank you for reaching out and allowing me to connect the face with the name. It was a pleasure to connect with you. Boom, 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 boom. Sherry says, those of you that live there year round are so very lucky, but those of us who come to visit every winter for several months love it as well. Well, we are also lucky, Sherry, to have people like you as positive, nurturing spokespeople of what a wonderful Puerto Vallarta is as a town to live in or vacation on. So we should be equally grateful to people like you, and we are. Here's a cue. I have an 8-hour layover in Guadalajara on my way back home August 6th and arrive back home here August 7th. Any suggestion, Paco, for the 8-hour layover in Guadalajara would be appreciated. Well, I'm going to tell you, Patty, that the airport in Guadalajara is close enough to Tonalá and Tlaquepaque, which are the two big places where you can buy Mexican craft and handicraft and accessories and stuff like that. That would be my first option. Now, what's the difference between Tonalá and Tlaquepaque? Well, Tlaquepaque is the fancy, pretty postcard destination where you can walk on these pedestrian-only streets and enjoy beautifully curated boutiques and shops with top-of-the-line Mexican art and craft. Here, things are a little bit more expensive, but there are great restaurants in the whole area. And there's a beautiful, beautiful large main plaza where you can find a bunch of eateries. On the other hand, this was Tlaquepaque. Tonalá is the place where all the factories and shops where many of these products are created. And Tonalá has special days on Thursdays and Sundays where they have an outdoor market that is absolutely crazy wonderful. But any day of the week would be equally fun to explore. So in short, Patty, with 8 hours layover, considering the fact that you probably only have 4 or 5 in between, I would take a taxi to either Tonalá or Tlaquepaque. The taxi drivers will know where to drop you off, and then just go back to the airport and continue along your way. I hope that helped. Let's see. Kelly says, does this mean I can be slow on my TELMEX bill? Well, let me give you one of these. TELMEX says it's all automated, girl, so I would not take a chance. Oh, let's see what else we have. Cliff says, a wonderful meet and greet. As a newcomer, it meant a lot to us. That is so good to hear. And that's what it's all about. You know, every time I either connect with people that I'm getting to know or I connect with people that I'm meeting for the first time, and it is always very rewarding to me. And I'm glad it was to you as well. Good morning. It was lovely meeting you yesterday. The feeling is mutual. Todd, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for letting me know about your business work here in Puerto Vallarta. We did a little, I don't like to do like games and stuff like that as these meet and greets, but yesterday I felt it was important to acknowledge those people that were present that are in business here in Puerto Vallarta to help our lives be better. And so we had a chance to single out a few individuals, including Todd, whose business is to connect those USB chingaderas to your television so that you can have access to channels that are not otherwise accessible to you here in Mexico. So I cannot vouch for Todd's service, but there were some people present yesterday that could. So if you need a special connection for your television, for those exotic channels from Canada in the United States, I mean Canada, Todd is your man. Let's see what else. Timothy says, thank you for hosting, and to Gina for hosting us all. We had a blast, and it was great to finally meet so many of the group. We love you all. It was great, and it was great to meet you in person. Then I'm looking at your reactions to the story that I shared. Again, it is a sad story. Do I know the whereabouts of the son? Well, again, the son is probably in the custody of his grandmother, and the governor has vowed to make sure that there are resources for the son to attend whatever special schools or treatments and so forth and so on. So I am sure that the son is going to be okay. The issue is, what is the state doing to have a better control on all this violence? That is the meat and potatoes as far as I'm concerned. Beep, 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 beep. Harold, who also has a residence in Guadalajara, agrees with going to Tlaquepaque or Tonalá, but get back to the airport in time is absolutely great advice, particularly if your back and forth to the airport has anything to do with rush hour in Guadalajara. So make sure that you plan accordingly. Let's see. Brian says, as Canadians, we love it when you say Canada. Well, Brian, we don't mean any offense. What was it that I read the other day? Banderas Bayans or Bay of Bandarians or something. I read this expression the other day, Bay of Bandarians, and I thought, really? Isn't it easier to say folks from Bay of Banderas or something like that? But so again, no offense, offense intended. I like Canada. I think it sounds really good, although I know it's not their real name. And this, my friends, brings us to the end of Coffee and Headlines, at least the end for today. As always, we appreciate your participation, your contribution, and your support means a lot to Luna and myself. I always thrive on hearing your feedback, even when it's not favorable, because every feedback, every comment that we get helps us build a better program and better projects for you to enjoy moving forward. So that's all we have for today. I hope that you begin your weekend with all kinds of wonderful, healthy, fun activities. Stay kind, stay calm, stay gentle, stay healthy, and stay in touch. And hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, sometime in the near future. Have a good one.